Now at this point, we realized the Rolls Royce was missing, and all I could think in my head is, holy crap, the valet must have taken it out for a joyride. How's it going, guys? Dylan from Luxury Lives On, and I hope everyone's doing well today. Today is part of a new series that I've already done one episode in, where I tell you crazy car stories that will personally relate to me and my experiences. Today's one probably tops all of them. It was pretty traumatic, pretty awful, and pretty crazy. In fact, it involves this very Rolls Royce Phantom that I'm awkwardly sitting in. Recently, we went to a pretty fancy hotel, but unfortunately the valet decided to take this car out for a joyride. Here's the story. Now, the background behind us going to this hotel in the first place is Rolls Royce was stupid enough to invite us to their thermal race weekend, where essentially you get to take out Rolls Royces that have, well, no business being on a racetrack, and essentially you get to floor it and be an absolute vandal. That's what we did, and we decided to, of course, fittingly take our Rolls Royce Phantom to a Rolls Royce event. And by the way, we love to drive our cars, and we drive the hell out of them. In fact, I did another video talking about how this thing's already at 60,000 miles. Because what's the point if you don't drive them? Alright, so we're full of excitement. The road trip was seamless and unnoticeable because, well, we were standing on lamb's wool and our grandmother's couch in the back. So it was pretty awesome, and we were obviously very excited. And we started out by arriving at a very nice hotel. Now, I'm going to be very nice myself and not tell the name of this hotel, but let's just say it wasn't a Holiday Inn and it was in Palm Springs. Alright, so by this point we had already enjoyed a day by the pool and stuffing our faces, and it already was 11 o'clock at night. However, we didn't want to sleep. In fact, it's a tradition with my family, we love cigars, so we naturally wanted to go buy the car and get one. Now, before you ask, why the hell do you have a cigar in your car? There are two things every Rolls Royce owner has to have in their car. The first one being, of course, is some Grey Poupon, and the second being cigars. Before we could, we obviously wanted to go down to Valet and ask for the car. So we asked them, we gave them our ticket, and we waited minutes, and then suddenly it was half an hour. Now you have to keep in mind, this was 11 o'clock, as I said, in Palm Springs, where, well, the general population is over 80 years old. So you can guarantee they were sleeping and the valet wasn't very busy. However, suddenly things started getting weird because, well, we still hadn't seen our car yet, and they didn't seem to have any answers. Now, car guys, in some weird way, are a lot like mothers. You see, we have this paternal instinct when we know something's wrong with our babies. And, well, that's exactly what we felt, because suddenly the weirdness of not being able to see our car after half an hour turned into suspicion. And that's exactly why I snuck around to their valet driveway to look underground and see if, well, we could locate the car. So I'm walking around, I'm looking at very nice cars, and I can't seem to find it. However, in my head, I don't really have, any malice thoughts. I just think it's weird, or maybe they have it in some other quadrant, or, well, they put it in a boatyard because it's so goddamn massive. But then I go up the driveway and I ask them, I couldn't see our car, where is it? Now this is the point in which, well, things got a little heated, because you have to keep in mind, I'm there with my dad, my brother, myself, and well, that's 3 people with testosterone and a tremendously obsessive amount of love for cars, specifically this car. We love this thing. We would sleep in it if we had to. In fact, I've done that in a video actually. And well, we were very concerned, so we decided to, well, keep pressing all the valet to ask, where is the car? Where is the car? And they wouldn't tell us, so we insisted on going downstairs with them and looking for the car so they could tell us, well, where they parked it. However, they wouldn't let us go downstairs, and suddenly everyone was starting to act weird, like they were covering each other's tracks, and things just didn't add up, and I got a sick feeling in my stomach. Now at this point it was pretty clear we weren't getting any answers. In fact, all the valet were either covering each other up or disappearing into the lobby. So what we naturally did is went to management. We wanted them to try, well, push this issue forward. And suddenly everyone was surrounded. We must have had the entire fleet of valet, all of the management, all outside. Everyone was yelling at each other, and well, they seemed to be trying to skirt the issue underneath and act like nothing was happening. It was very concerning, it was very frustrating, it was very annoying, and suddenly we just decided, well, we're going down. And they followed us. We went down the driveway, except for this time, we did see the Phantom reverse parked right in front where, well, it usually was. And then we went to the car and, well, we're freaking out because, you know, we knew it wasn't there before. However, we did think of one thing. That thing was, well, the thing that ended up saving us, because I felt some heat radiating off the car. And I thought, well, that's weird. The car's been driven for like 10 hours since the morning. And it was 11 or actually probably 12 by now. And I felt the hood and it was warm. That's when everything escalated. That's when, well, we thought we were yelling before. We were yelling even more, and we were demanding answers. So we all went back upstairs to the lobby and continued yelling at each other. In fact, I was videoing and my brother probably almost punched them in the face. But the best thing we thought to do was, well, we had cause, we needed proof. And, well, we demanded the tapes to show it. Now, the really frustrating part here was everyone was a politician. All of the management didn't step up. They just pretended like nothing happened, or this is impossible, there's no way this could, or we need to ask this person this, and the valet kept changing their stories or they weren't available. And it was just incredibly frustrating. We felt so violated, and the next thing we thought we could only do is get the police involved. So we called 911 about a stolen Phantom. So the police arrive, and they obviously don't have much to go on. We take them downstairs, show them the car's warm, tell them everything that's happened to us, and, well, they say they can't really do anything. And they can't really force them to get the tapes and show us them. But we came to an agreement with the management that they were going to show us these tapes the next morning, and they assured us that everything was going to be fine. So the next day we wake up incredibly anxious, anticipating, well, that finally we're going to prove this with the footage. And we all sit down in a room and watch the video, and we don't even see the Rolls Royce moving. But what we do notice is a large segment of the video was missing based on the timestamp alone, which is obviously the most suspicious, despicable thing you could possibly come across. At this point, honestly, you feel kind of sick, you feel kind of powerless, you feel violated. I mean, this is our baby. Imagine any of your cars, Honda to Rolls Royce, you guys would be pissed off. You'd feel sick. No one treats your car like you do. God forbid a bunch of valets joyriding it on the streets in Palm Springs at 11 o'clock at night. The funny thing is, I think it was a perfect storm. We could have very easily not noticed this car was missing in the first place, but, well, thank God for my family's yearning for cigars at weird times at night, because at least we were able to kind of know that something did end up happening. What I will say concluded with this is that we knew typically kind of who the valet guy was. He was acting the weirdest. We got the names of the most suspected, and, well, we obviously requested that some action be placed on them. and we later on found out that they were never released, reviewed, fired, anything like that. It was a big cover-up. I think there's been bigger cover-ups in US history, but for me this was a pretty devastating one, obviously. We ended up getting a ton of free nights at this very nice hotel. You know, at the same part, in the meeting, I was like, no, there's no way I'm ever staying at this hotel. They violated us. They did all this. But, you know, a free night's a free night. And we ended up staying there again, having a good time. They took care of us, but the issue was never really brought to light. So now we did end up having a ton of fun at the thermal racetrack with the Rolls Royces. In fact, we ended up overheating a Ghost. So that was pretty fun, and I also got yelled at by an instructor for trying to drift one. So in the end, I think it worked out. So my recommendation to you is enjoy and drive your cars, and, well, drive them in the valet parking yourself, or at the very least, take a picture of the mileage. Because this is a really, really sick feeling, and it sucks that it happened to us, and God forbid it happens to anyone else. Guys, if you liked this format, please let me know. Give me a like if you also liked the video. If you want to see more of my content, please do subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Peace!